Hey folks, Jonathan again, and working on steam engine. We got the pillars poured. I didn't do any filming yesterday, but we did put 4 pieces of rebar in each, drove them down in, and then we poured around them, and you can see this is one of them, and we did vibrate it. Taking the forms off this one yet, so they look good. They're good and solid. I mean, they're not not a bunch of voids or anything like that in them. There's a few little pinholes, nothing major. We're going to cover these, the outside of these, with the same block. And then, like I said, that's the pillars. We're going to bolt a piece of steel to the top, and we're going to make it to where it's actually holding the wood off from the steel and off from the bottom about at least an inch probably, or close to it. And we're going to try to separate the wood from anywhere close to the concrete. That way, if it does splash up, it won't get water on the wood. So here you can see I got them covered up still. I haven't uncovered these yet, but still got just a little tiny bit of heat in them. And you can see the moisture in there. If you hold the moisture in, it keeps it to where it will cure and be stronger. And as you can see, there's plenty of moisture in there. And they used to cover it with straw to do the same thing, but that's what we've done. So we got logs. So a young fellow named Austin that is, I guess he's a subscriber. He was in the middle of building a sawmill and he hadn't got it done, but he called me, or messaged me actually, and told me he had some logs I could have if I wanted them. Just come get them. And he wasn't real far away, so we went and got him, and it turns out he's friends with a lot of people that I'm friends with, a lot of really good people. And then I find out he's the grandson of sort of like a mentor to me, Charles Dowd, which was Dowd's Motor Pool. It was a record service, and he built his own records, and you know, pretty much was doing what I'm doing, except he was doing it 2 generations before me, and or at least 1 generation before me. And you know, he built some really nice trucks, and I enjoyed his company, enjoyed staying over with him. I was telling his grandson about, he would you know, get a call in while you was there, and he'd say, come on, ride with me, it's just down the road. And the next thing you know, you're 2 states away, and it's 3 days later. So you just had to watch where you went with him, because he'd take you off somewhere and you'd be working. But he done mainly big truck stuff, and was known for being the guy that could get the recoveries done when, you know, the young guys had no clue what to do or couldn't get something. He'd come and show you. So, and he liked mechanical home 750s, and he actually had an 850, and he had a Kirby Grant retrofit. For anybody that has ever seen one, it's called this one was, I think, a 40 plus, which means it's 40 tons plus, and it would do every bit of it, because Kirby down in South Carolina builds them really heavy. So and it's the Kirby Grant wrecker is pretty much the same style as the one I'm building on this Airstart truck, except his stuff for that particular Mack was built a lot heavier. You know, this is light stuff. You know, we're talking about him picking up 80,000 pounds, where I'm just hoping to get 30,000. So anyway, we're going to take and go to sawing these logs. I know a lot of people don't like logs that the bark's already off of, but I've had really good luck. They're dry enough. They're not rotten, but they're dry enough that you know, you don't have to do so much work to keep them from warping. They don't seem to crack as bad, and I don't, you know, I like it better. You don't have a lot of pine tar, pine sap, you know, getting all over you and getting on your blade and sticking to your blade, and I mean, it's a mess. So far I've liked them. So. And these are nice, you know, nice logs. And I think that big one down there is about 20 inches. So that'll tell you, you know, the smallest ones are out here, and they're still, they're probably 8 or 9 inches. I don't think I'll get an 8x8 out of them, but I only need so many of them. You know, I need 7, I think 8x8. So we've got 2 more loads of logs to go get. I went and got these 2 yesterday. So we've got 1 stack there that's that big one there, at least as big as that. There's 5 logs there, so we're gonna have plenty. So we're gonna get the sawing this morning and go ahead and try to get some 8x8 beams done, and we're gonna do them a little longer than the others because we need them longer, and then we're going to try to do, if we can get 7 beams done, we'll be ready to start bolting everything together. So we've got 10 done, need 7 more. All right. I had a wreck the other night I thought was kind of interesting, and I'm going to take you by the wreck site, and then I got the vehicle at my place, and I'll show you what it looks like. But kind of a weird situation, but where this thing wrecked at, there used to be a chicken house which was 300 foot long, and there's another one beside it, and I'll show you what it looks like. But years and years ago, probably, well, 15 years ago at least, this chicken house and one other one on the other end had got struck by lightning and burnt down. And I bid the job to clean it up, and of course got it. And so I cleaned the place up. There was a lot of tin. I had a local scrapyard bring semi-trucks in, and I just loaded them. And, you know, a lot of chicken manure, which I luckily, there was another guy that needed some fill, and I hauled all that to his place. And then there was a lot of copper and a lot of steel pipe and stuff like that. So, you know, I made money off the scrap, and then there was 100 foot of the house left. It was kind of funny because when I brought that crane out of the swamp, that big building that I had to drive through, that was actually the rafters from that 100 foot that I sold that guy. And, you know, all them years ago. And he actually set them up on poles a lot higher than what they would have been in the chicken house, but that was where they came from. So instead of building a house back in this location, the farmer built a litter barn. It's a style of a barn where you would keep all the chicken litter, and you got a cruster that you would go in, and it actually takes this, like the top surface of the ground off in the chicken house, and then you would put it into this, and eventually you'll put it in a spreader and haul it out and put it into fields. And you know, it stinks real bad, and you know, there's a lot of feathers and chicken crap in it. But we had a truck run in, and believe it or not, well, I don't want to go around these guys, got an exit right here on the right, but believe it or not, it missed the Michigan loader that was there, and it hit the chicken manure, and it actually jumped. And I'm going to show you, you know, where it jumped and where it landed, and then I'll show you the truck. All right. Okay, folks, so here is the chicken house. That's 300 foot. That section that I drove through with the drag line came from this end down here. That was the only part that was left. Everything else on this pad right here was burnt. So they built this manure holder, I guess you can call it. We'll go show you what it looks like inside. See if you can still see the, yeah, you can still see where the pickup truck came through. Somehow came through there and missed the fire hydrant up there, which is right there. Shot through, luckily missed that Clark, Michigan loader. You can see the tracks, and then they hit the chicken manure pile right here. And I guess this wall, well, it's about 6 foot, almost 6 foot. And here, they cleared the wall completely. We thought the truck caught the top, but it had a refrigerator in it. But they went, well, that far before they landed. I'd say that was the front end of the truck right there that went in the ground. But that was a heck of a jump, and to clear a wall that tall, and that was, like I said, a heck of a ride. So this thing had a refrigerator, double door stainless refrigerator in the back, and that's, I guess the refrigerator is what hit the top here, and I'll show you where it hit it on the truck. Alright, so here's the way they were coming, right down through here, coming around this turn. And I gotta say, the guy did not get hurt at all. And you can start to see the chicken litter house there. I guess right through this hole right here. Just directly through. And then up over there inside. So this happened about 2:30 in the morning, the other morning. So wait till you see this truck, alright? Alright folks, here's the Chevrolet truck that made the jump. As you can see, frame's definitely been on this thing. smells too. Airbag took out the windshield. Right here is where the refrigerator come up and hit, and I'm sure the refrigerator is what hit the roof of the building. Busted the back glass. Bent the steering wheel, and you can see the chicken feathers and chicken crap on the dash. So it's a shame too, because this was a really nice truck. 2017 Silverado half-ton, 4-wheel drive, 4-door, and she's definitely totaled. But that was a heck of a jump, and come straight down on that front end. And how that boy didn't get hurt, I don't know. Of course, the airbag did come out, but I think this was actually a boy, and it was Mom's truck. And Mom said that this wasn't the first time he's taken one of their cars and wrecked it. So, youngins nowadays. All right, folks. Been working away on the wrecker and getting ready to do some testing here. Getting ready to put fluid in it and try it out. Okay, I want to show you a few things I've done, and a few things that's got to be done. First off, this bracket is 1/4 inch, and no, it's not heavy enough. I'm going to run a band strap around it at least 1 inch and bend it all the way around it. We'll cut it back a little bit away from that drive shaft also, which, I mean, there's a couple inches there, it's hard to tell, but I don't want to take a chance on it hitting it, so I'm going to bring it on this side of it. And then we'll run a bracket from there all the way up to this cross member, and that'll really help support it really well. So but we're testing, that's what we're doing. You can see I added another U-joint, and that way if we move this adjustable tray, I guess you could call it, with the bearings mounted on it and the chain, if I move that, as you can see, these joints are just going to move, and same way with the front one, and that way it'll have no effect at all on the alignment of the pump or anything. So that's the way we done it. That's the way we're going to leave it, and just continue to update on the strength, of course. Now, one thing I didn't do, I've got everything, hoses all, and the only thing that we've got hooked up right now is these cylinders here to raise and lower. But there's one thing that I have done that I wouldn't recommend anybody doing, and we're going to change it, just a matter of time. This is my locking valve. Okay, this keeps the boom from coming down if a hose busts on this side of the locking valve. But also, if your engine's not running, you can't let it down with the lever, so you can't accidentally drop your load. So these lines right here, these lower short lines, should be steel. They should not be rubber. We're going to run rubber for now, and maybe we'll change out a little later. Probably better, at least if I go to, go to 4-wire hose, which I've got. I just have to take the ends and take the hose and get them crimped on. But for now, we'll test with this and then change it later. I've got we've only got one control valve hooked up, and I'll show you that. So we mounted the tank over here. We've got the suction line under the frame, and then of course it's coming up, but the tank is actually higher than the pump, so shouldn't be any issues there. Filter for the return side, you gotta have, and let me see, you can see it's hooked in. We've got a single control valve, well, 3 control valve, but on a single bank. There's another 3 on a single bank, and then there's a 3 on a single bank down there. The plans originally was to run a triple pump I have, and if I decide I'm going to add to this, I will change the pump and we'll run a triple pump, because running different items, if you run one set of control valves, then you have problems with hitting the lever and it dropping something down. Well, not dropping it down, but losing power from it. If you got 2 winches and you're running both at the same time, it's going to, basically split the fluid up. So if you've got 2 pumps and 2 different control valves, and you got your winch on one, winch on the other, you don't have that issue. So everything is ran, good to go. I'm going to take these apart to get the fittings on. I've reused the O-rings. I did not have them, and they've got some weird D-ring looking O-rings. They're not really O-rings, but let's get some fluid in it and give her a try. Okay folks, so I picked up a little motorcycle from my days in the 70s. I never got to play on any of this stuff, but I remember seeing it. We went by my aunt's a couple of times, and they had a park right above there. So there's our spring and there's our motorcycle. I just can't wait to ride it. Okay folks, last but not least, Cadillac. Have all the parts in, haven't had time to mess with it, but here's something that I got, I thought was neat. It's broke, but I'm going to do a little fabricating to it to fix it. This is I think it's a KD 335, and it's actually made for a Cadillac flathead. Valve spring compressor. It's hard to get, of course, to the keepers down in there. You can't even see them from the top, but this is made to catch the keepers. A little trap door on it. But the gear right here was bad, and I think I'm not even going to make a gear for it. I think I'm just going to put a piece on it to be able to tighten up with a with an impact or something, just to use to compress, because I'm not worried about this being an original piece. I'm more worried about being able to use it and it being usable, and I don't have time to machine a gear out for it. But besides that, it works really well. I give $35 for it, and it's got a little point in the center, and of course the valves have got little points on them. So, but you can see these two intake valves are not closing. So we're going to get to work on that and get to work on the lifters. I think we've got some holes plugged up in the lifters, not letting the oil come out of them, and that's why they're staying open. So we're going to get them in a pan. We're going to get everything out, cleaned up. But like I said, we're working on roof for the building, we're actually working on putting a second story on the other building above the Elcar and the Franklin. I'm going to put a couple of cars up top and get out of the weather. And then we're working on the wrecker, and what else we got going on? I think that's it. And so it's always something. We've moved from one to the next until we got parts. Now we got a bunch of parts in. We've got wood to do the roof. We got the parts to do this. We got the parts for the wrecker. So we're having to just jump on everything one after the other. The wrecker's operating, so we'll probably keep on it until it gets finished up and usable, and then we're going to jump on the other things as we can go. So appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.